ahoy, ahoy. I did not know you were here.
Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg. Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg. Mask off. Fuck mask off. No, Jesse what? Jesse Eisenberg. Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg. Eisenberg. Never Feckenberg. Neverberg. Always Reppenberg. Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
I'm not a bad guy.
I'm like a bird, I only fly away. I don't know where my soul is.
Nice job, kid.
Thanks. Well, I could have stuck the landing a little better. It's just a new suit. Wait, it's nothing. Mr. Stark, it's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't really need to start a conversation.
Okay. Captain? Big fan of Spider-Man?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Just...
Hey, everyone.
Good job.
Yeah, I have a confession to make. I really don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He is the definition of a whiny, unlikable, teenaged version of Spider-Man. And yeah, people are giving him the most praise because he's the youngest actor who's playing Spider-Man. Whoop-de-doo. It's really showing because he's acting like a preschooler most of the time.
You think you're right? It makes you dangerous.
A lot of teenagers are pretty mature, and especially the Peter Parkers we've gotten in the past, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, like they're more mature than he ever was. And yeah, they were in high school, and yeah, they were older at the time when they were filming, but they were still better. They're better than him. I like Tobey Maguire's goofy ass. Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man. It still is my favorite Spider-Man. I don't give a shit what you think.
I think without Spider-Man, there'd be no hope for this thing. But who do you think pays the bills for all the damages he causes, huh? It's you and me, taxpayers.
You make this?
Yeah.
This is a wind turbine. You make this? No way. This is amazing. It's good as new, right? I'll walk you home. Of Spider-Man.
And you better not sue me, because...
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I fucking love The Social Network.
You did it. I knew you did it. You planted that story about the chicken. I didn't plant the story about the chicken.
What's he talking about?
You had me accused of animal cruelty.
Seriously, what the hell's the chicken?
We were first introduced to Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War. And after months of speculation, who's going to be Spider-Man? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Timothy Chalamet? Is it going to be Nat Wolff? It's obviously going to be Asa Butterfield. Some sites were already saying, like, oh, Asa Butterfield is Spider-Man. Stop the news, because he's already Spider-Man. And then 2 days later, it was Tom fucking Holland from The Impossible. And so, that's what happens. That's what happens. We're first introduced to him in Civil War, and I just wanted to punch him in the mouth. He comes off as like an ass-kissing...
Hey, Mr. Stark, what should I do?
What we discussed, keep your distance, web him up.
Okay, copy that. Guys, look, I'd love to keep this up, but I've only got one job here today, and I gotta impress Mr. Stark.
Kid, there's a lot going on here that you don't understand.
Stark said you'd say that. Wow. He also said to go for your legs.
Weird, like, stilted asshole. I just can't stand him in this movie. Everything is awesome with him.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude. Those wings carbon fiber?
Is this stuff coming out of you?
That would explain the rigidity-flexibility ratio, which, gotta say, that's awesome.
Most of his line delivery is, like, so cringeworthy.
Hey, guys! You ever see that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony, how old is this guy?
You have the right to remain silent!
You're not a cop.
We haven't met yet. I'm Clint.
I don't care.
Okay, that had nothing to do with Spider-Man. That's just the best part of that movie. However, I was still looking forward to Spider-Man Homecoming, despite all my worries.
Things are never gonna be the same now. I mean, look at this. You got aliens. You got big green guys tearing down buildings. When I was a kid, I used to draw cowboys and Indians.
Actually, it's Native American, but...
That was the first joke of this movie. What is wrong with you people? So Michael Keaton plays the villain of the film. Now, when they first announced that, I was like, fuck yeah. Michael Keaton's the best. Who doesn't like Michael Keaton?
We're losing him! We're losing. He's dying!
Assholes don't like Michael Keaton. That's who. Yeah, he's the best part of this movie.
Shocker.
Spoiler alert, he's the best part of this movie.
You're up there wearing that goofy thing, lighting up cars, calling yourself the Shocker. I'm the Shocker. I shock people. What is this, pro wrestling?
Everything about him in this is great, except the writing for him. There's a very obvious plot twist in the middle of this movie that I saw coming a mile away. Everyone else was like, oh, I'm so shocked. No, there had to be a build-up to that one scene you saw in the trailer of him talking to Peter. I was just like, oh, that's what it's going to be. Got it. Fucking got it. No one else did. I got it. Well, if you did get it, good for you, but I don't care. We're introduced to Michael Keaton in this movie. He's, he's a scrap guy. Him and his team, they collect scrap, I guess. Gives a fuck. And then the government comes and tells them, oh, you can't do this anymore. We're taking over. And then Michael Keaton's like, why? Why are you doing this to me? And then I have a family. And he's like, oh, there's nothing we can do. And then this asshole agent says this.
Maybe next time don't overextend yourself.
What'd you say? Yeah. He's right. I overextended myself.
Okay, why would they need to pull guns on him? He just punched a guy. He doesn't have a gun on him. Like, why did 50 guys need to point guns at him? And then after that goofy scene, him and his cronies, played by the guy in the beginning with that terrible Native American joke, Bokeem Woodbine from Fargo season 2, and Logan Marshall Green, and they stole most of the alien technology that they could get, and now Michael Keaton is a baddie. And then we're introduced to this guy.
New York, Queens. It's a rough borough, but hey, it's home.
Who are you talking to?
No one. Just making a little video of the trip.
You know you can't show it to anyone.
Yeah, I know.
Then why are you narrating in that voice?
Because it's fun.
I know you're a teenager, but aren't you supposed to be a genius kid? You know you can't film government battles between superheroes, you fucking goof. What the hell is wrong with you? But this keeps going on for like 3 minutes.
Whoa, no pilot? That's awesome. No one has actually told me why I'm in Berlin, or what I'm doing. Something about Captain America going crazy.
Yeah, man, Captain America's just going crazy. Yeah, he's just so crazy, that Captain America, man. So crazy. I'm doing that shit with my arms again. Fuck.
Oh, I found the case. Oh my god.
Put it on.
What this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Look at this thing. Look at the eyes. This is the greatest day of my life. Okay, there's Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow. Whoa, who's that new guy? Oh, that's me. I gotta go. Hey, everyone.
He doesn't say that line as quickly as this movie is making it out to be. He waits like 15 seconds to say that line. What the fuck?
It was the most amazing thing that's ever happened. So Mrs. Stark was like, hey, Underoos. And I just sort of flipped in, and I stole Cap's shield, and I was like, hey, what's up, everybody?
First of all, why are you already telling us what you already showed us? Second of all, you did not say that. You said, hey, everyone, and a bunch of other nonsense. But you didn't say, hey, what's up, everybody? So not only do we have an annoying Spider-Man, but he's a liar. A fucking liar. Anyway, after all that nonsense, it's like 3 months later, he hasn't heard from Tony at all. So, know what Peter Parker does? He quits the academic decathlon team, abandons all of his friends, and just waits until Tony gives him a call, because he just has a hunch! I just don't find him likable. And then he rejoins the decathlon team, the academic decathlon team, and he's just welcomed right back in. I mean, that's just not... I know, it's a superhero movie, suspend disbelief, I get it, but the writing is so all over the place, and there's like 7 different writers for this movie, and I don't blame John Francis Daley and the other guy who wrote Horrible Bosses and all those other movies that are good, but 7 people wrote this movie, and then it's directed by a guy who's directed Clown and Cop Car, like 2 movies that are just like, what? And like, there's no style to this movie. All the action scenes are really bland. Poor Marissa Tomei is just used as a sex pot in this movie. She's just TNA all the way. I mean, I love Marissa Tomei. I'm sounding like Dr. Seuss too much. She's great, but it's just really offensive of how they're using her in this movie, and she could be used better. Sally Field is still my favorite fucking Aunt May. Who would have thought that? I still love Marissa Tomei, though. Tony Revolori is horribly miscast as Flash Thompson, the bully in this movie, if you can call him that. He's just an asshole, and he calls him Penis Parker, because isn't that fucking hilarious? Because it's not Peter, but it also starts with a P-E. Penis. It's fucking top-level humor right there. And then there's a scene where Tony Revolori, like, he gets outsmarted by Peter Parker in one of the scenes, and then he turns to him and says, "You're dead." There's not a single scene where he tries to physically intimidate him at all. I mean, and that would have probably been hilarious, of like Tony Revolori just trying to fight him, and then Tom Holland and his cocky ass just like, "Oh, you can't hit me, I'm awesome, it's awesome, everything's awesome." I mean, that would have been a funny scene at least, at the very fucking least. But they just make Flash Thompson like just the total pussy in this movie, and that just bothered me. I would have taken the generic, Chris Zilka from the Amazing Spider-Man series, or Joe Manganiello from the first Spider-Man, that Flash Thompson, that generic fucking character, over whatever the fuck this character is. And then Zendaya shows up in the movie, and then she goes like, oh, I have no friends. And then at the very end of the movie, she's like, yeah, actually, my friends call me MJ. The whole fucking speculation of her being in this movie, she's obviously going to be the first Black Mary Jane. And then the filmmakers were like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, man. Yeah. And then the movie comes out. She says that bullshit line at the end. And then Kevin Feige says this.
Was always this new high school character, Michelle, who we knew there was an M in Michelle and an M in Mary. And then he laughs. So we were clever and we thought, wouldn't it be neat if her initials were MJ?
Yeah, fuck this movie. I really can't stand it. I really like the friend in this movie, Jacob Batalon, and I liked Michael Keaton a lot, but that's about it. This movie was very overrated, very overhyped. Nothing really happens in it. The action, like I said, is not interesting. And it's not the 12th greatest superhero movie of all time, Collider.
Did you all right?
Hey! Whoa! Hey!
Get inside.
Wait a minute.
Guess who?
Hey!
Hi.
Hey! Oh! Hey, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that was scary.
Yeah, you're done.
Mrs. Stark, wait! I'm not done. Okay, I'm done.
Another movie I wanted to talk about super quickly is a straight-to-VOD movie starring Bruce Willis and Jason Momoa, narrated by Thomas Middleditch of Silicon Valley fame. Yeah, this movie was not good. Bruce Willis plays a private investigator who in one scene skateboards naked. And Jason Momoa does a really horrible Mexican accent in this movie. He plays a cholo. He actually plays a cholo in this movie. Fuck Jason Momoa. But if you ever wanted to watch a Bruce Willis action movie that's narrated by Thomas Middleditch for no reason, then I absolutely recommend it. I just realized that I didn't say the title of this movie. It's called Once Upon a Time in Venice, I think. Okay, the next movie is The Babysitter, directed by Mick G, the same genius that brought my least favorite film of 2012, This Means War. Remember my review for This Means War? You know, back when Chris Stuckman liked my reviews? This, luckily, isn't as bad as This Means War, thank fucking God. I mean, did it really even have a chance to be as bad as This Means War? But it's still shit. I mean, it's about this teenage kid who's too old enough to have a babysitter to begin with, but that's the point. And it's played by Judah Lewis. He's great. He's a great up-and-coming young actor. He was also in the running for Spider-Man. I'm not even making that up. He was. He's great in this movie, even though the movie itself, like I said, isn't very good. But he has a babysitter played by Samara Weaving who looks exactly like let's say if Emma Stone and Margot Robbie were lesbians and had like a lesbian baby together. That's what she looks like. They're both good in this movie, but the whole point of it is that late at night, when she thinks that the kid's asleep, she invites her friends over, and secretly, they're a cult. from the spawn of Satan or some shit like that. And the movie never really ever explains that. I mean, the farthest it does go to explain it is, oh yeah, I have to get the blood of the innocent, and then I stay young or something. It's really typical shit. But the one thing I really wanted to talk about in this movie, primarily, besides the fact that the funniest person in this movie is probably Robbie ML from True Jackson VP, that old Nickelodeon show, he gives the most energetic and hilarious performance in this movie.
Here we go.
The worst part of the movie, however, is King Bach, Vine sensation.
Don't shoot, man. Black Lives Matter too. You feel me? Titty, darn. You Mexican, right? Look, I speak Spanish. Lo siento, my nigga. Lo siento. Are you serious? 3 out of 4 people got an STD. I got 2 people's blood on me. You do the math. I got AIDS. I know I got AIDS.
An AIDS joke in 2017. How timely, King Bach.
Look, man, I can't go to jail. Y'all kill the cops, man. I ain't involved with this shit. They say you either end up in jail or dead. It's gonna be both for me, B.
How many fucking times is he gonna remind us that he's black? I get it. I see you.
Got a dick, shoots a girl in the boob. B, I did not sign up for this shit. Ow.
Stop complaining. Stop all your whining.
They're only gonna stop growing. They weren't even done.
Man, sometimes you gotta settle, all right? I got a cousin, Chantel, titties flat, personality real good.
Why does your cousin have to have a stereotypical black name? Chantel! Why can't she just be like, why can't it be Lindsay? We get it, you're fucking black.
No, who's gonna motorboat these, B?
How you like it? Let me know. You want them quick or you want them long?
King Bach is so bad in this movie, Bella Thorne ends up being funnier than him.
Oh, you fucking bitch! What's wrong with you? Oh, get away from me with your fucking beret! What do you mean I'm gonna bleed a kid? Can we just stick a tampon in her or something?
Not even kidding. Those actually made me laugh, those lines. She was funny in this movie. Just remember this, King Bach. Bella Thorne is funnier than you. The next movie I'm talking about is Bright, the next David Ayer film starring Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, amongst others. Edgar Ramirez, Noomi Rapace. It's written by Max Landis, who, of course, is obviously a rapist, right? Because there's allegations against him, and everyone hates him now, and he hasn't been on Twitter since the day he was accused. I was looking forward to this movie. Everyone's shitting on him because he's like, oh, this is my Star Wars. Max Landis said, this is my Star Wars. He wasn't literally calling it Star Wars. You know that, right? Do you know that now? Yeah, this was a fun movie. I don't get all the hate for it. I think a lot of the script was definitely rewritten by David Ayer with parts that were literally taken from Training Day. It was really bizarre. But then Max Landis, I think, a lot of his dialogue, his signature flashy dialogue stands out in a good way in a good chunk of this movie. It's just a lot of the mythology kind of gets entangled. I don't know if David Ayer was the most perfect choice to do this movie, even though compared to Suicide Squad, this is actually a competently edited movie. You know why? Because they didn't get this movie edited by a fucking trailer house. I think there's a couple miscastings, though. Ike Barinholtz and Margaret Cho as corrupt cops. Like, okay, first of all, what is with people? They keep casting them as corrupt cops. Ike Barinholtz was like a corrupt prison guard in Suicide Squad. Now he's a corrupt cop in this. And Margaret Cho was a fucking she was an FBI agent in Face Off. And now for the choice of the police captain, it's Margaret Cho. They couldn't get like Viola Davis or Jessica Chastain or like anybody else from the cast of The Help, specifically The Help. I mean, really the driving force of this movie are the great visuals, the great makeup, the competent editing. Someone just texted me. I'm texting you later. Be patient. And Will Smith and Joel Edgerton have terrific chemistry. And I really have to say, Joel Edgerton is the best part of this movie. 4 out of 10 for The Post. My buddy Chris Noreen, The Boys Don't Cry 96, gives The Post, the new Steven Spielberg Oscar bait film, a 4 out of 10. Shocker. Edgerton, he really holds his own with Will Smith. Does a great job and he really disappears into the role and has great makeup supporting him. Karma, 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 karma. Joel Egerton, he comes and goes with every role. He's a chameleon. The next movie I actually liked. It's a little indie called Slight that I saw in theaters this April, and it was very good. It's about this card magician guy who he gives himself abilities to perform tricks extravagantly, and in the meantime, he's given himself superpowers, kind of. And it's awesome. It's kind of like a superhero origin story, and the movie is fucking awesome up until, like, the last shot, because the last shot teases you so hard. It's just, it gives you blue balls. This movie gives you blue balls, but it is super well acted, and it stars this kid from Collateral Beauty.
I'm Tom. I'm a gift.
Yeah, he's fucking great in this movie, though, and so is Dule Hill from Psych, and The West Wing, and Holes. It's a good movie. I highly recommend it. It's a solid film. One movie I want to talk really quickly about, too, that I also really liked. It's also an indie film, a little movie called Person to Person. And I just have to say, Michael Cera gives one of the funniest performances of his career as this metalhead, neurotic, crazy journalist, and Bean Coopersmith gives a really great breakout performance. One of my favorite breakout performances of the year is this jazz enthusiast who wants to buy this record from Buddy Duress from Good Time, and things go awry. I highly recommend it. The next movie I'm talking about is Thor Ragnarok! Do you mean like Thor Ragnarok on, Berg? Fuck yeah. So obviously Thor Ragnarok is the best Thor movie. That's not shocking. The first Thor, it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and everything was like at a Dutch angle. Every shot was like this. It's like, yeah. And then all the sound was like in your fucking face like this. I don't like the first Thor movie. This was pretty damn cool. I mean, it's not great by any means, but it is very entertaining, and they got the right director to do it. Just make Thor do a comedy all the time. Chris Hemsworth is charming enough. He's funny in this movie. He's good. Even though in the beginning it was kind of like, are you doing a Robert Downey Jr. impression? But then he eases into it. He's very good. Jeff Goldblum steals every scene he has. It's a fun movie, Big. Final movie I'm going to be talking about, and it's a movie I do really like. I do like it, but it did not make my favorite movies of the year list. And that is Call Me By Your Name. Yes, it is the new LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ movie, directed by Luca Guadagnino, the guy who gave us A Bigger Splash. You know, that movie where Ray Fiennes is fucking nuts. And by the way, your name isn't fucking Ray, alright? It's spelled Ralph. That's like saying my name was James, but I like to be called Jerome. And I'm not black. Yeah, it stars up-and-comer Timothy Chalamet.
G25, let's go. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Miss Law, Miss Law, Miss Law, Miss Law,
He is the next big thing. Him and Armie Hammer are in this. They play lovers. Michael Stuhlbarg plays Timothy Chalamet's dad. All of these people are great in this movie, but Timothy Chalamet in particular is fantastic.
Look at me, it's Timmy T, about to hit him with the ZTST.
He really knows how to play a scene very vulnerable without making it seem phony.
Let's do a problem, let us see the probability you see me on TV. 1000 trillion%. I'm a statistical wonder, a statistical gem.
He never once has like an Oscar moment in the movie where you can just point a scene, oh, that scene's going to be used. It's a very subdued, subtle performance, and if he does get an Oscar nomination for it, I would not be upset at all.
Proof everywhere that your boy is the best. Take a look at my face, do a chi-square test. Better than the rest. What? Catch me on the cable. I got girls equal to the random digits table.
Yeah, this kid is just great. I remember seeing him the first time in Men, Women, and Children, that devastatingly underrated Jason Reitman film. Then he did Interstellar, where he played young Casey Affleck, and he literally looks like a young Casey Affleck. And I just saw him in Lady Bird, yay! And he's my favorite part in that movie. He's hilarious in that film. Great breakout performance for him. I mean, is there nothing this kid can't do?
Statistics.
Could you please shut the fuck up? Timothy Chalamet also, like, fucks a peach in this movie, and Armie Hammer, like, bites it? Ew. People want to give this Best Picture? Compared to Moonlight, Call Me By Your Name is literally me, him, her.
I'm gay. I know. What? You're gay. How do you know I'm gay? You don't know I'm gay. Huh? How long have you known I'm gay? Well, we met, what, freshman year of college? Well, then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't I tell you your sexual orientation?
Okay, well that's the end of my video. I know that was a long one, but you guys made it through this journey, and I'm proud of you, and I love you very much, Big. Just want to party with you and all the air buddies in the club. Yeah. And my next video is going to be my best of the year video. And life doesn't matter.
Miss Lau, and she's my favorite teacher ever.